And welcome back. In 2012, the 6th Congressional District was gerrymandered significantly as a result of the 2010 census. At that time, the district lost heavily Republican Carroll County, as well as the more conservative portions of Frederick County, while absorbing heavily Democratic precincts in Montgomery County, turning the 6th District from a reliable Republican district into a Democratic leaning district. In this past spring, incumbent Democratic Congressman David Trone announced that he would not run for re-election, but instead would run for the U.S. Senate seat being vacated by Ben Cardin, leaving the 6th District wide open for all comers. Mike, by my count, there are at least 9 Democrats who have announced their campaign or have filed with the State Board of Election, with the majority overwhelmingly coming from Montgomery County. Now, according to noted political observer Adam Panucco, the winner of the Democratic primary could win with less than 30% of the vote. And since the concentration of votes come from Montgomery County, if a candidate like Mia Mason from Frederick wins, is she going to be weakened going into the general election?
Oh, probably. I think it's a really interesting dynamic to see how this will work through the primary and how that then changes through the actual general election process. And we saw Congressman Trone was really in a dogfight, really, to win re-election. And until absentee ballots were counted, it was neck and neck. And so I think that it is not a foregone conclusion that a Democrat comes through in a strong position. And interestingly, of the 9 who have announced, arguably none of them are particularly strong candidates. They're all nice candidates. They're all nice people. But when you think about some of the folks who could be out there, like a Jan Gardner, a former county executive in Frederick, or some of our more senior sitting legislative folks who've yet to kind of weigh in as to whether or not they're going to run, I'm intrigued at the level of the candidates that are out there. And so I think none of them are particularly strong, and especially if they're running from Montgomery County.
Well, one of the axioms of politics, as you know, Mike, is that you don't run just to win the primary. You run to win the general election. And isn't the fear is that some of these lesser candidates maybe have a very strong base and can be elected in the primary, but not win in the general election?
Well, and I think that's a real problem that many Montgomery County elected officials have, because in Montgomery County, you run in the primary, and I'm trying to think of any even really run of any consequence in a general election. I think I was one of the last candidates in the county that actually had to run a real race in a general election. And that was 10 years ago. And so I think most people don't know how to run the next step. They know how to run a primary. They don't know how to run 2 sets of races. And so I think that's a real challenge and a real detriment to somebody coming out of Montgomery County right now.
So let's switch to the topic du jour, Laurie. So 3 Republicans have filed, and recently former delegate Neil Parrott, who in 2022 received 45% of the general election vote, announced the opening of an exploratory committee for another run for the seat. Is this a golden opportunity for Republicans to take back the seat?
I think Republicans do have a really good chance in this one district. It is, Neil Parrott has run a couple times now, and he came close, but he still is not getting what he needs in Montgomery County. The votes, in Montgomery County were so much, I can't remember the exact statistics, but I know Trone did so much better than he did in Montgomery County. And he worked really hard in Montgomery County last time. He's got to work harder. I know of 6 people so far who are planning to run, and a number of these people have been out at Republican events this summer. Mariela Roca, she ran last time as well in District 6, and she's planning to run again. She's an excellent candidate with a Air Force background and a doctorate, very great with people. Tom Royals is someone who's new, is a naval flight officer who's planning to run. Heath Barnes was at the Montgomery County Fair. There's a number of people running. So I think that's good for Neil. I think it's good that they're all going to be in a race, and there's going to be a forum on September 20th that the Upper Montgomery Women Republican Club is sponsoring from 6 to 9 p.m. And it's going to be at the Black Rock Center for the Arts. You go to the mcgop.com and you can sign up to go. It'll be an interesting forum to see all the candidates who are going to be talking about the issues.
But isn't the greatest opportunity the fact that there's so many candidates running in the Democratic primary, and that you could get a weakened candidate because they're either from, like I said, they're either from Frederick and the Montgomery County people won't know her, or they could be such an activist candidate that some of the conservatives in Montgomery County wouldn't vote for her.
Yeah, I still think, a weak Democrat could still beat a strong Republican in Montgomery County. We just gotta get the numbers up higher. We know that it's likely that the Democrat will win in the Montgomery County part of the 6th district. We just got to get those numbers higher, and then I think that person can win.
Mike, I'm going to let you have the last word.
Sure. No, I think I love this district because as we've talked in the past, I think having more equal representation districts is better for all of us in a democracy. And I think this is a great representative district in the state of Maryland. And so I think it's going to be a really good race. And I think we should have a really good race. And I just hope we get some stronger candidates in on both sides to actually make it be the race that it should be.
I think it's going to be fun to watch, because we're political junkies. I just think it's going to be great to see, a really competitive race there, as we saw in 2022 also. Stay tuned for parting shots when we come back from this short break.